This is a real photograph, not a simulation, not a rendering, an actual picture of a black hole, 27,000 light-years from where you're sitting right now. And it's not even the strangest thing in this video. By the end, I'm going to show you a machine humans built with our own hands that is now so far from home. A radio message takes a full day just to reach it. And after 49 years, it's still calling back. 15 facts. Everyone real, everyone sourced. Let's start close to home and work our way out. What do you get when you freeze an entire moon solid, and it erupts anyway? Enceladus is barely 300 miles across, small enough to lay across Arizona. And right now, it's firing water into space so hard the plume is taller than the moon underneath it. Water shooting out at nearly 800 miles an hour, straight into the vacuum. Here's the part that makes this science, not speculation. Cassini didn't just photograph it, it flew through the plume, tasting it with onboard instruments, and found water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, ice grains, the fingerprints of a liquid ocean sloshing under the ice, venting through cracks NASA nicknamed tiger stripes. An ocean moon with a nickname for its cracks. Somebody at NASA was having fun that day. If a frozen moon can hide an ocean, what does the volcanic one look like? Meet Io, Jupiter's innermost large moon, the most volcanically violent object anywhere in the solar system. Nearly 400 active volcanoes, more than every volcano on Earth combined, and some of them are throwing sulfur over 300 miles into space. This isn't inferred, since Voyager, Galileo, New Horizons, and Juno have all photographed Io erupting live, in real time, decades apart. The heat source is Jupiter's own gravity, physically kneading the moon like dough with every orbit. Io doesn't get days off, it's been doing this for 4.5 billion years. Not every moon here explodes, one of them just rains. Titan has rivers, it has rain, it has entire seas, one of them, Kraken Mare, stretching about 730 miles across. But none of it is water. It's liquid methane, at a surface temperature of nearly 180 degrees below zero. And this next image isn't an illustration, it's a real photograph, taken by a probe that landed on an alien riverbed and looked around. Cassini's radar tracked those seas shrinking and refilling with the seasons for 13 years. A complete weather cycle, evaporation, rain, rivers, seas, built out of a chemical that would asphyxiate you in seconds. Quick gut check. 3 moons in, and we haven't even left Saturn and Jupiter's backyard. Here's the part most people never get told. The wildest imagery in astronomy isn't always a painting of an exploding star. Sometimes it's just a photograph nobody expected to be possible. You already saw this image once, at the top of the video. Here's what actually went into taking it. Sagittarius. A star sits 27,000 light-years away, weighs about 4 million times our Sun, and in 2022 became the second black hole in history to be directly photographed. To do it, scientists linked 8 radio observatories scattered across the entire planet into one virtual telescope the size of Earth itself. That orange ring you're looking at isn't the black hole. It's the shadow the black hole casts on the glowing matter behind it. You are looking at the edge of the point of no return. No CGI department involved, just physics, patience, and a truly enormous amount of data. And that same black hole family does something even louder. In the neighboring galaxy M87, a black hole 6.5 billion times heavier than our Sun is firing a jet of matter at over 99% the speed of light, a beam of plasma stretching more than 3,000 light-years long, and Hubble caught it glowing, blue and unmistakable, in a real photograph. For context, that jet is longer than the distance between us and countless stars you can see with your own eyes tonight. It's not a special effect. It's a real galaxy doing something no special effect ever needed to invent. Not everything out there destroys, some of it builds. 6,500 light-years away sit towers of gas and dust up to 10 light-years tall. They're called the Pillars of Creation. And the name isn't poetic exaggeration, new stars are physically being born inside them right now, condensing out of the very gas the pillars are made of. James Webb photographed them again in infrared in 2022, nearly 30 years after Hubble's first famous shot, and the pillars are still standing, still glowing, still making stars. And sometimes space doesn't just show you an object. It shows you a rule of physics, bent into a shape. In 1915, Einstein predicted gravity could bend light. He never got a telescope good enough to prove it. We do. This is a real Hubble photograph of a galaxy cluster so massive its gravity bends the light of a galaxy directly behind it into a nearly perfect glowing ring, magnifying that hidden galaxy 20 times over. A 100-year-old math problem, and space just solved it for us, in light. Here's a question worth sitting with. Everything so far is real. No paintings, no guesses, actual telescopes, actual light, actual physics, and we're only halfway through. Storms are supposed to be round. Saturn's North Pole didn't get the memo. There's a storm up there shaped like a literal six-sided hexagon, wide enough to fit 2 Earths across, with winds hitting 200 miles an hour and a central eye 50 times larger than an average hurricane eye on Earth. Voyager first spotted it in the 1980s. Cassini filmed it rotating, unchanged, for over a decade after that. Same 6 sides, same shape, 40-plus years, and counting. Nobody fully knows why it's a hexagon and not a circle. It's a genuine unsolved puzzle in planetary atmospheres. Somewhere, a geometry teacher is furious this wasn't in their textbook. Every planet spins roughly upright, like a top, except Uranus, which got knocked so hard it now rolls on its side, tilted 98 degrees. Its poles each get decades of unbroken daylight, then decades of unbroken night. Voyager 2 measured the tilt during its one and only flyby in 1986, and scientists still argue over whether an ancient impact or a lost moon knocked it sideways. Jupiter has auroras too, bigger than Earth entirely, and unlike ours, its northern and southern lights don't mirror each other. They flare independently, sometimes every 2 to 3 minutes. Earth's auroras are a nightlight, Jupiter's are a strobe. Here's the one that sounds like a typo. Mercury, the planet closest to the Sun, hot enough at the equator to melt lead, has ice at its poles. Permanently shadowed crater floors that sunlight never reaches, colder than 170 degrees below zero, sitting just meters from ground hot enough to melt metal. Spread out, the ice could be thick enough to bury an area the size of Washington, D.C., 2 miles deep. Messenger confirmed it with radar and neutron data in 2012, decades after Arecibo first spotted the strange radar bright patches in 1991. The planet closest to the Sun is hiding a freezer. Space doesn't care about your expectations. And if planets can be this strange, what about the ones that don't even have a star to orbit? James Webb recently found over 500 objects in the Orion Nebula that are planet-sized, but orbit nothing. No star, no sun, just drifting alone through open space. And about 40 of them were found in pairs, 2 rogue planets, orbiting each other, with no star anywhere nearby to explain how they formed that way. Astronomers nicknamed them jumbos, and current planet formation theory genuinely cannot explain them yet. Somewhere out there, 2 planets are just going steady. Nobody knows why. You've just met erupting moons, a photographed black hole, a hexagonal storm, and planets with no star. If you think that's the ceiling, it isn't. We're saving the coldest and the farthest for last. The coldest place we have ever found in the entire universe isn't in some far corner of intergalactic nothing. It's a nebula. The Boomerang Nebula sits at just 1 degree above absolute zero, colder than the leftover heat from the Big Bang itself, the background warmth that fills the entire universe. It's the only natural object we've ever measured that's colder than that. Somewhere out there is a patch of space colder than empty space. Let that sit for a second. We've gone to the coldest point we know of. Now let's go to the farthest thing we've ever built. On February 14, 1990, a spacecraft called Voyager 1 turned its camera around, at Carl Sagan's request, and took one last photograph of home, from 6 billion kilometers away. That's Earth. Every person you've ever known in a single pixel caught in a stray beam of light. 3.7 billion miles from home. Now here's the part I promised you at the start. Voyager 1 launched in 1977. It is still flying. It is still transmitting data 49 years later on technology older than most of your parents. This November, it will cross a full light day from Earth, so far away that a radio message traveling at the speed of light takes a full 24 hours just to arrive. We built something. We sent it out into the dark, and nearly half a century later, it is still calling home. Somewhere out past the edge of everything we can see, a 49-year-old machine is still doing its job. Most of us can't say that about a phone from 2 years ago. 15 facts, every single one real, sourced, and verified. And honestly, we could have kept going. If any one of these made you say, "Wait, what?" out loud, that's exactly the reaction this channel runs on. Subscribe for more wonders like this one every week, and tell me in the comments which fact you're taking to your next dinner conversation. I'll see you in the next one.